Um, you are not always aware that you are quite a humorous human being. Uh,
Humorous.
you act as if you are often quite uh, worldly and all of this business, but you're really quite childlike and light and carefree. There are certain parts of you. There's you don't always like to talk about this. We're just going to spit it out. But there are parts of you both competing for the same space:
Hmm.
the adult, mature one, and the carefree childlike one that wishes to play.
Hmm.
So they come back and forth. And the real way for them to come together, the easiest way for you, is this humor of yours, this laughter. The laughter is the child and the adult coming together.
Hmm.
So if you can recall this as you have a big laugh, that your child and adult are playing together, there will be a part of you that will rest at ease because it's heard. Both the child and the adult wish to be heard by you because uh, you have allowed them both to be equal partners. They are both important to you.
Mhm.
So when you notice them, say hello, hello, child, hello, intelligent being. That's just a suggestion we have for you.
Oh, thank you. Now,
Yes.
are they two aspects of my higher self, or are they like two energetic beings? How do I differentiate them?
This word you use, this higher being, it is your essential self, your eternal self, your
Yes,
energetic being. That's what we would
energetic
call it.
being. Yes, the energetic self.
Yes, because higher implies you're an angel or something like this. People, this is what they envision. So we prefer to use energy, energetic self.
Okay.
When we speak of an adult and a child, they are only during your human time. So during your human time, you have developed certain personalities to get through human events. This human being will come forth and take care of this. During this other time, you may play. Over here, now we have to call you forward. So there are many different parts of you that you have needed to use. It's almost like having a hand of cards, and you may choose which one is most appropriate to use at the time. But yet, they are all parts of you:
Yes. Okay.
small, large, masculine, feminine, aggressive, all of this. You need all of them to survive your human experience.
Hmm.
These are for your human time only. When you're finished there, you don't take these cards with you or these personalities or anything. Then you become energy again. So we only speaking during your human time. You may spend your human time noticing what's going on. And there are many humans who are just working, or being, and doing the next thing, and going here and doing this and getting the groceries. They don't really notice what's going on. So what we are pointing out to you is start noticing. So if there's a big laugh, you may say, "Oh, that's my child. Do you think that's very funny?"
Hmm.
And you can tickle them or something. And
Mhm.
then your higher self say, "Oh, that's pretty funny. You're a very wise guy." Like this, you see?
Hmm.
Have an easy relationship with all the parts of you. And when you have your angry part, you'll say, "Well, aren't you a big angry human now? Oh, you're so scary." Just like this. Just notice them. And they don't, therefore, then, they don't run your life. They're just part of your characters that you have.
Mhm.
But each one is meant to be noticed. If you're not noticing it, they will make a big fuss. If you
Mhm.
don't notice one of these characters in your life, they're going to make themselves seen energetically or allowed or create a chaos, whatever. They are only looking to be seen. They don't want to be the ruler of your life, but they want to be noticed and treated equally. These are all equal characters. There's not one better than the other because it depends on the circumstance you find yourself in or the emotion you find yourself in. When you're deeply grieving a human loss, you'd prefer your grandmother come and hold you in the rocking chair. And that's all right too. See, there's none any better or worse than the others, but for acknowledge them if it's important because you have focused a lot of your attention on certain characters, not all of them,
Hmm.
but they all exist in you. So we are just suggesting to you, and really all humans, just notice what you see. You
Hmm.
don't have to become engaged in the conversation. Oh, you're so angry. You don't have to do that. You can step back and look at it and say, oh boy, aren't you so angry today? Make it a little lighter. Just notice what it is
Mhm.
instead of becoming attached to it. Do you understand what we mean?
Yeah, I was thinking about those comments that you made. Um, where was I going with the thought here? I was thinking about the, you constantly assure people that they're precious beings and we're perfect and we're on the paths that we're supposed to be on. I was just then
Uh,
had
let
thought,
us
well, I
correct.
want.
We
Sorry.
must correct the last phrase. Paths that you're supposed to be on. We would not include that.
Okay, that we're in the perfect place at this moment in time. Is that a better?
We may explain to you why you're precious. Perhaps that will make this easier for you. You're precious because you have a human body.
Okay.
So as you are energy and you say, hey, I want to have a human body, right there, you're precious. Doesn't matter what you do because you're taking a chance of coming into humanity, mixing up with all the horrible humans and the lovely ones, and spending time on an earth that's in disruption half of the time. So immediately when you choose to come in and have a breath, you're precious. Just by the mere physical nature of your body, you can tell that you've chosen to come forward, and the reason that you have a body is because you have hope and faith that you can make a difference in the earth. You don't come to cause chaos. Hey, can I go? I want to cause great chaos. No, you can't. Hi, I want to share love. All right, get in there.
Hmm.
Always, that's what you're doing in it. So that's what we mean by precious. That's all you have to do is take a breath. You don't have to be in the place or you don't have to think the right way or anything. You just have to have a human body.
Okay. All right. So okay, and I follow that thinking. And then you've assured us that we're perfect as we are. And like in my case, I feel that I'm lacking somewhat because I don't have this strong connection with my guides or my support team, as you say. And I feel like, well, that's something I desperately want. Consciously I want this, and yet I'm struggling to try and make that connection. So I feel like, well, I'm not doing it as well as other person like Wanda, who can just very easily bring this sort of energy through. So, but then you've always said, oh, you're perfect. So I'm trying to, I guess I'm taking the message has got to be acceptance, love of self, accepting what is, and just accept rather than trying to become something more than we are at the moment.
Yes. And if we took you right back to your beginning sentence, you said you wished you knew that there was a support team. We call them non-physical support team around you. That's
But
what your
I,
wording was.
I would,
What what makes you think that they are any less obvious or any less available to you? Let's just rephrase this. What we mean to say is you all have a non physical support team. If you recognize them or not, it doesn't make any difference. They're the same. They are readily available for you at a breath, all of you. Doesn't matter what you do or not do, even if you don't believe in them. They don't go anywhere.
mhm.
So you really can't do anything wrong with that. So that's perfect. If you want to say it in that way, you just come before you come into physical form with this team.
Yes,
You can't do anything wrong or right. They will never leave you. They'll always be there every any moment you wished for them to be. When you call out in desperation, and as much as you say that you would like to become aware of this, you are aware of it because you're speaking of it as if it's truth.
Well, I guess aware because you're telling me that this exists and then you're giving me this assurance. So I'm believing you that that's true. But
But you
I
don't
have
believe
nothing
everything.
tangible myself that I can say, oh, last night I had this amazing conversation like this with my support team and they told me this. That's never happened.
Yes. That does not happen to most humans.
Yeah, I would like it if it could.
Mm.
That's what I'm saying. Is like, well, if I can do something to aspire to develop that connection, I'm most interested in doing that. So the desire is there. It's just that, it's not, um, it seems like a reasonable request given what we're trying to accomplish here, but you know, when I've asked in the past, you've said, well, I shouldn't ask for gifts beyond what I already have. And so I'm appreciating that, okay, I just need to be humble and accept more, and that's fine. But I guess it still leaves the room for growth and the hopes that that connection might develop someday.
The more that you hope for something you do not have, the less you stay in your own space and are grateful for for your existence as it stands today. So this practice is not we would never recommend this sort of practice that you wish you were something else. When you are perfect the way you are, and perhaps delving into your own perfection at this moment perhaps is a better practice.
Hmm.
All of the ways that you are perfect, perhaps you can write this down on your paper that you'd like to use.
Mhm.
Perhaps you can write down all the ways that you are perfect inside, to the universe, to other humans, whatever way you wish to put it. How
Mhm.
would you like an exercise such as that?
Well, there's many attributes that I can say, well, I'm very happy with myself and where I sit on that particular topic. Like I'm pure of heart, for example. You know, I feel like I'm genuinely trying to be honest and caring for other people. And I think that's an attribute that it just feels comfortable for me. And I realize not everybody else has that same motivation. So
As you sit in this energy right now, speaking of yourself, pure of heart, you are at ease and peace. You're relaxed and you're one with the universe and your non support team. Just by noticing this, your energy slows down, you relax. Your body's in a state of relaxation when it hears the truth, and a state of knowing this is your higher self right now. This state of speaking the truth, feeling your body in alignment, and it relaxes hearing the truth because it understands that you understand, and now you are one. At this moment, you are complete.
hmm.
It's as simple as that.
But that's one aspect. It's kind of like the hand of cards that you talked about and having, I guess, multiple aspects of yourself. So I'd say, well, for this particular card, I feel like, you know, that's a strong card that I can play regularly to, you know, in the game of life. But other cards like connection are ones that I don't have in my hand. So I'd like to have the cards, but I've never been dealt them.
See, again, it's easier for you to go searching rather than stay in the state of oneness. This is the part where you yourself are uncomfortable, as most humans are. They feel along the line someone has told them you're wasting your time sitting there being grateful. You're wasting your time sitting in alignment and being one with the universe of love. That's not a productive human. Get off the earth if you're going to continue about this way. Humans have been told this. But as you yourself sit in your sense of knowing, you're relaxed. When you start speaking of these other manners, your voice gets higher. You're racing here in your heart and your neck. You are now more excited. I wish that. I wish that you change. Your actual system changes. So from sitting quietly, this is the part that's difficult for you. And this is why you create the other thing. I want that other thing because it's difficult for me to sit still. It's difficult for me to be sitting in gratitude and be oneness with the universe, the ground I'm sitting on, to be one with other humans, to be one with my internal organs. This is the part that's difficult and causes people to want other things and gets them to move out of this quiet, easy space. Humans prefer not to sit in a place of ease and comfort. It's the human way. The human way is to achieve and learn.
Mhm.
And yet, here you are having this experience and being intrigued and interested and evolving. You are evolving. Every time you do this energetic exchange, you yourself are changing your DNA. You're becoming more evolved and more settled. So when you hear this conversation, it's resonating with you. And one time when you're sitting down, you usually have loud voices and such. You'll shut it off and you'll sit one day, just plunk right down. And all of a sudden, you'll be at ease and peace. And you'll remember this vibration you're feeling now. and you'll sit and it'll be all right for you this time. And then it will happen again and again and again. And eventually, this will become your normal way of being, just sitting in ease and comfort. And all of the things pass by in front of you, all of the dramas and excitements of human life, which there are many. But you may choose now to jump in or sit back. At this moment, you don't have the choice. At this moment, you're in the chasing and the running of life. But when you're able to sit down quietly in oneness, you have the option to join or to sit.
Hmm.
And we are speaking to you, many others as well, but you exactly.
Hmm. So when you say I have the option to join or to sit, do you mean to join with my support team or to
No,
sit
no, no,
in
no,
solitude?
no, to join with the human chaos.
Ah, I see. Yes, yeah, to get in with it. Yeah. Mhm.
It's very fun. It's exciting. And also the wants. I wish I had that. I wish I had that. You may join in all of that. That is considered chaos. I wish I had that.
Mhm.
That would be what we would put in the chaos category. So when the opposite of that is sitting in alignment and quiet and ease. Then you have a choice. When you're in the chaos, you have no choice. You are just being swept along with your life. And that's absolutely fine if that's what you wish to do. But the curious thing is here is your involvement with this energy. This energy is healing and evolving, and it changes the DNA of those who listen to it so they become more peaceful and at ease. And here you are showing up, asking for it over and over. So you yourself, the inner part of you that you wonder about, is calling forth and asking you to bring your body to this energetic exchange.
Hmm.
And you have obliged. So you and your energetic self have shown up here in cooperation to achieve what your inner self is crying out for, which is ease and peace.
Hmm.
You are always showing up, and you now are allowing your inner self to have a say in your life. And as it has more say, it becomes stronger, and therefore more you have more access to the peace and ease and information that this universal part of you has. When it's quieted and you're busy in the chaos of life, this little voice is not heard. But at this moment it is, because you're having this energetic exchange.
Hmm.
Makes it sound so simple.
It does make it sound simple. I think about, um, well, yesterday I was doing a job and, I had full intention of just going in and doing this repair, and then it didn't go so well. And I started to get frustrated and very heated. And I was reflecting back, boy, I got really upset, like more upset than I probably should about that. Why did I let myself get so upset about that? And, and I thought, well, that's not a good path to be going down on. That looks like the path to a heart attack. So, it was, I guess, a conscious recognition after the fact that maybe I got too upset over the things that weren't going very smoothly for me. Um,
May we interject with this
yeah,
story?
yeah. Go ahead.
There were two of you speaking. One says, "Why are you so angry?" And the other says, "Well, I don't know. That was a bad idea." These, just by the very words of them, sound like ego and brain speaking. Were you able to hear a smaller voice that said, "Well, you're just a human. You're really doing the best you can"? Did you hear this small, quiet voice?
I have to in honesty, I have to say no, because I thought
Because
at
these
the
are
time,
louder.
yeah, at the time I was very upset. I was, cursing because this thing was not. There were lots of things that were going wrong with it that should have been simpler, but it just didn't manifest
Yes.
into an
So
easy
this is
job, and it got me frustrated.
So this is your ego and brain having a talk nonetheless. You have heard there's two conversations there. One says, "Why do you get so angry?" And the other says, "That's going to cause a heart attack. It's a bad idea." There's two. So you've noticed two. We are wondering if the next time you can notice the third, which is more quiet and more easy, if you so choose to. Otherwise, these two are just caught up in the chaos of life, and that's the human experience. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But you have another part, this quieter part, that's not being heard, that says, "That's all right. You're doing what you can. You are you are being the the compassionate part of you that knows about love and knows, oh, that's just chaos. It's going to, something else is going to happen later. And perhaps we're just going to put this out to you. You can see where it sits with you. Perhaps you created the chaos so the small one is able to be heard. For sometimes the more loudness is that you find around you, the more you seek out silence. The louder, more aggressive, broken, and crazy human activity. There's a part of you that just wishes for it all to be silenced, just for a moment. And it takes the loud contrast to bring attention to the small self that says, well, do you know what? That's kind of funny that that all happened, don't you think? Then you can giggle about it. It's an easy part of you. What does that sound like to you?
I wouldn't laugh. I didn't, I wouldn't necessarily laugh about it, I guess, but I did reflect on it afterwards and think, well, it's just the way it went, and it didn't really need to get that excited. So it was more I guess, maybe there was that smaller voice coming through, but it could have been more like rationalization too, that no, I didn't need to get that excited. And
We're going to tell you what the little voice sounds like for you.
Okay.
A child, like a little child, giggling. You're going to take it in. Look at the adults. Look what they're doing. They're making a mess, and they think they're doing something good, and it just broke. It's, you know how a child laughs at the inappropriate times.
Mm-hmm.
It's when humans get so loud and crazy. There's something irresistibly hilarious about it, and children pick it up. They will giggle at the worst times. And if you were able to step out of your human ego and mind, you could ask them, what is so funny, little one, without an angry voice. And they'll tell you, you look like a cartoon character. You are, your face is all red and you're puffy, and your smoke's coming out of your ears. Can't you see that? There's a lighter side to this childlike, energetic self that knows that this event is so small in your life. You've had a million of them. And at the moment, it seems like this is the biggest event ever. But the little childlike energy of yourself knows that that's even funny. If you could remember the million times ago when the house fell down on your head, you would think that this was not so big at all, but you can't remember.
Mm-hmm.
So this small energetic self within you has great perspective and really would laugh almost about anything. It's very few things that are serious to your energetic self because it sees things on a different level. As another life experience. Oh, look, there's another experience. Just write that down. There'll be another one in a minute. Oh, there's another one. There's another one. There's another one. So there's something with this eternal self that puts a human life into perspective. And as much as you feel as if this is very important time, it's your only time as your life of your being. Your eternal self does not feel that way. So it is lighter with these events.
Mm-hmm.
It can step back from emotional outbursts or disasters or anything going on at all. It may step out or up, as you wish to say, and look down on it and say, oh, that's sort of funny when you think about it. It's a childlike curiosity and mischievousness.
Okay.
Watch for it, you particularly, because you're quite mischievous. So you will start noticing it once your big emotions get pushed aside. You'll start noticing what you giggling at, and then you could start looking at it like that does look ridiculous. So you may side with the small one, almost step out of yourself, step out of your story, your ego, your big disaster, and look at it from some other perspective. Everything's smashed. Look at this mess. Maybe it's funny because maybe now it looks like something else, like it looks like a balloon or a clown or something minute.
I'll reflect on that a little bit. But
Just watch for your mischievous one.
get myself into trouble when I let that guy loose. I had a whole list of questions as I was thinking about our conversations. I've been typing in, and they're not necessarily in any particular order, but just things I thought, well, that's and wonder why that is. So if I can just maybe ask a few questions, and you can let me know when time's up here. So you talked a little bit earlier on about the support team and that they're here to protect us. They protect us from harm, I guess. Well,
We might as well fix that sentence up.
okay.
They're not protecting you from harm because there's nothing to be harmed. And protected is not the exact word. When you think you're afraid or you think you need protection as a human, it seems as if they're protecting you, but they're always just there hanging out with you. So they really don't protect you, but whatever you wish for as a human. So generally you call out to them when you're afraid. Oh, I'm afraid. I'm anxious. I'm hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You'll feel them. There's a certain pressure around you, and they'll put as much pressure on as they can, their energy. So they'll put the pressure on you, and you may feel that or you may not, but that's their reassurance that they're still there. So protecting is not the exact word. You are looking for protection because you're afraid, but you're not really. What you're looking for is reassurance that you're not alone.
Well,
and that's what this is.
Well, so that's sort of changed. So reassurance that I'm not alone doesn't necessarily alleviate anxiety over something. So let me go back.
It does, because all of a sudden you realize that you can handle anything if you're not by yourself. Do you believe this?
Well, only if they're bringing something to the table to help me deal with the problem. I'm trying to deal with the problem, not to get a pat on the head.
But you do need a pat on the head. What if you have everything inside of you to deal with anything? What if you have access to information, intelligence, everything, and all you need is reassurance, pressure, which calms your nervous system down? Then you can behave and react appropriately, because you yourself will be calmed down, and you'll think, oh yes, I remember, I have access to this here, I'm going to use this. But when you're heightened and fearful and afraid, you have access to very little, nothing really, other than running or kicking or something like that. But when your system's calmed and clear, then you're connected to great information. So that is what we mean by this. Is that clear?
Yes, that's more addressing the emotional state. So I'd agree, when you're in a state of, call it hysteria, where you're so emotionally charged, you're not thinking, then you're not doing yourself any favors. So I get you on that point. Now, a few sessions ago, you'd mentioned this is earlier on, when we were first talking, that the support team was there, and you made the comment, well, if you were going to fall off a cliff, the support team would give you a nudge and prevent you from doing so.
Yes.
So I took that to mean that they also provide physical safety for you in going through the life. Is that true?
Possibly. So it's not a blank statement. There are many who will fall off the cliff. There are some who will not fall off the cliff because they have a conscious connection with their support team and have asked for support as they move through an event. And we will explain this, because you will use this in a different way, but we're going to be very precise with you. Mm-hmm. If you and your support team and the universe of love have all agreed that you must perform a certain act, that you must complete a certain task for the betterment of mankind, for the betterment of you, for a higher goal and a higher purpose, you will be protected.
Oh.
Now, that's quite a thing to hear, isn't it? Because now you're going to say, how do you know if you know this or not? How do you know if the universe has agreed to it? How do you know? How do you know? How do you know? That's the way of you. So what we are saying is, this is very precise. If you are finished with your time there and you go to the edge of the cliff, then your support team say, hey, see you on the other side. They're not going to intervene at all. of course, they'll be happy to get back to the next thing or what's ever happening. Absolutely no interference, because that is not the way. The support team cannot save all of the humans, because then no one will pass and there will be no more new humans, you see? So it's not their job to keep you from certain death, but there are certain agreements that you and your support team and the universe may make until a task is completed. Then you can fall off the cliff.
Oh, that's very interesting. So if you have like we've referred to this work that Wanda and I are doing as
Yes,
divine work,
yes.
and we hope to be doing more. So would that mean that because that we're engaged in that path that I can be safe driving home on a snowy night and not worry about my car driving off a cliff?
You see how you mischievous you are. You are trying to take an event and put it into something very precisely human. Now, we will agree with this on a bigger scale, that yes, you are protected until this work is complete, because it's not complete. What is going on here? But here's the tricky part. You're going to hate this because you don't like caveats very much. If something else comes along that changes the direction of this work, then perhaps you will fall off, or the host will. It depends where this, how far this goes, and who else is involved, and what happens if something else happens from something else that triggers this, like the domino effect. So for this moment right here,
Mm.
you're protected by your non-support team. In a moment or another day, we're not too sure, because other events may occur that like the domino is a very good idea, because one thing may affect the other and the other. Do you understand what we mean?
Yes, I understand exactly. Yeah, yeah.
All right,
But that ain't okay. So that touches on a different topic now. This is fun. Is it okay if you can follow my logic here?
we
So
will try to follow you, human.
you're doing very well. Um, uh, the idea of then a path forward in time. We talked about time and the progression of events. So this relates to that in the sense that, well, things can happen and these dominoes can fall in different directions. So if I'm understanding correctly, we don't know exactly what's going to happen. There's kind of a path that we're going down, but it might change depending on future events, right? And
Yes,
even you don't know that
yes,
for a fact.
yes.
And nobody can influence that to make something happen. It's just
Correct.
going to occur, right? That's what
Right.
we know. So, all right. So establishing those principles then, uh, we were talking about time in an earlier video, earlier session. And you had mentioned, I asked the question, well, how come we can't go forward in time? Because we can time travel through this hypnosis process. We could go forward in time and pick up these ideas of something that exists in the future and then bring them back and implement them now. And you said, no, we can't do that because it would create a hole in the time in the future that I know I didn't query you on it, what you meant by creating a hole. I think it was they used the term hole, create a hole. I thought, okay, well, that means that time must have some linkage going forward. So there has to be a sequence of dominoes, if you will, as time progresses.
Very good. Very good. That's pretty precise. So the dominoes not only go forward, but they always go sideways and backwards. They go every which way, you see.
Mhm.
So in this way, as we have said that this moment is sacred and protected in the work that you're doing, and you are held safe right now, because this has not changed right now.
Mhm.
If something changes in this future, then another human becomes involved, all of this interaction, all of this is also the way, what you're truly trying to get at. You see, you're trying to be a sneaky human and get something that's not yours. That's really what this is about. You're trying to do some cheat. You're trying to cheat life. Go forward, get something. Now, this thing that's this something that's forward has been created and evolved piece by piece. One human that passed it to another, to another. Not always alive. Some of them have passed, but the idea started from a small thing and got bigger and bigger and bigger. This is what we mean by progression, you would call it.
Okay.
If you are to go to the future and pull it back, there's been no progression. During the progressive stages of whatever this invention is you have on your mind, there were humans evolved where their chips went one way and then they went the other, and then they went the other, and then perhaps a different one intersected this way,
Mhm.
depending on who they met, what time, and all of this business. So the progression you see is missed, as do all of the events and the humans in that progression. So you would create, this is the whole, this is what we mean when we say whole.
Mm.
You've created a whole loop. Uh, we don't really know
Yeah.
loop. It's a straight line. You've interrupted this straight line of creation,
Right.
humans and events that happen that would say, oh, that didn't work,
Right.
but would it work this way? And then what human is involved with that interaction, and then that thing's going to fail, and then
Right.
and then this is the way human evolution has been with inventions.
Hmm.
So when we say you're cheating or you're creating a hole in the future, what we mean is you're taking something that's not yours and you've stolen it
Right.
because you have not done the work all the way through the years. These are years. These are people who are non-physical, physical, and all kinds of events that have happened. And this work is not valued for what it is, for the experience that it was, if you just scoop the end product.
Mm. So it's important that the sequence be
Yes,
followed then,
yes, yes.
taking from that. Okay.
Yes, but
That's
not for the end result. Doesn't really matter. That's nice human gifts that you get. What does matter is the human to human, because what happens in these inventions, which is what you're getting at, when you reach a certain state and you can't learn anymore yourself, you reach out. You say, huh, I wonder if the universe knows anything else. You don't use these words, but all of a sudden you're sitting there and this great idea comes to you. You're like, oh boy, I wonder if that would work. You write it down, you draw it down as if you just thought of it. You didn't think of it. It came to you. It
mm.
was a gift. You were seeking it out in the universe. This experience is what it's all about. Ah, I can reach outside of myself to receive information. Therefore, there's a universal intelligence. That one moment is the most precious moment in that human's time.
Mhm.
And then another will have it, and another, and another. So it's this is the important part of it, not the actual invention in the end.
I see. Okay. All right. That's a really good explanation. Thanks for explaining that. So, just again, another slight tangent to that. Then I was watching a show on television and was talking about the series was called Surviving Death, and it talked about people that had a near-death experience where. In the one case, one lady had drowned for 30 minutes. Her body was underwater, and she was very badly damaged. She had broken legs, and her face was smashed, and quite extensive physical damage to her body from this accident. And so she'd gone and passed to the other side, and then they told her that it wasn't her time and that she had to come back. So she came back and had no, like we said, the probability of surviving that was zero. She's a medical doctor, and it is impossible to be underwater for half an hour and not have brain damage or some kind of long lasting effects. But she was healed, she was fully mentally fine when she returned to her body, but she did have to go through rehab for her bones to heal and things. But I thought it was quite an interesting thing. And many other people have recounted the similar things where they have this death-like experience. And some of them have precognition of this happening, but are told that it's not their time. So that implies to me that there's some plan. There's some point that you get to. You say, when I'm here, then I'm done. Is that
Yes.
true?
So this is perfectly tied into what we have just spoken of. So if you are in the middle of something, if you're in the middle of some evolution of mankind, or perhaps it's even this evolution of I'm very, very intelligent, but I need more, and you reach out to the universe and you realize there's universal intelligence. Something like this is also highly valued. If you're in the middle of this, then you're not finished. You could be finished in 3 days, but you're not finished at this moment. And this person that you're referring to is another one of these examples of they're not quite finished. And when you speak of the other side, It's the edge of the other side. It's not right in the middle of the universe of love, for you will never be coming back here once you're energy. Once you're love energy, lying in ease and oneness with others, you don't come back to human until you come around as the small one. Don't come back as a grown up one. But you may be held at the edge of this place by loved ones that have passed and have said, really, you're not finished. How about going back? And the humans often will look around and say, well, what's behind you? What's over there? I might like to check that out. What's happening? No, you don't. Because you're not finished with your earth and blah, 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 blah. They'll say stuff like this. It's very sweet, lovely. No, you're not finished. You think you're not done. You don't want to be here with us. Blah, blah, like this. The human will then go back and finish what it is they're done. But really, they could be done a moment after they've come back to Earth. You see? So this project, this evolution of mankind that they are involved in, which they have not completed, can be completed at any moment. It doesn't have to go on for years. It just means at that moment it's not completed. So these non-physicals that have human bodies, some of them are the persons supporting. Now, we can't speak of all humans in this story, but we are saying that this is a very common, easy thing. We have just spoken of it, that if you're not finished, your support team will push you back or hold you or blow the wind over or throw the rock or whatever they're able to manifest, whatever they can do. But this is one step further where those who have passed are a little more, they often become a little more concrete for the person, so they're able to see with definition that the non-physical world exists. And when those humans return to their bodies, they are great believers now in the
Mhm.
non-physical support team and their
Mhm.
world, that they're small. Then they've only seen the edge of it,
Right.
and yet it is often wondrous, beautiful ease and peace. They've gotten out of their physical heavy body. So all of it is, it's a beautiful place to be. So this is a continuation really of what we were just speaking of. Non non your support team is very much the same as the non-physical family lineage who have passed. Some are the same.
Okay. I guess I was just coming back to all. Uh, uh, are you coming for the evolution of humanity, or just to have a human experience?
Oh, but the human oh, all right, there's confusion there. We will need to, this will be the last comment,
Okay.
but to come for a human experience, no. That is not a greater purpose. That's the easy one. That's the one you jump into when you take a breath, your first breath. That's your human experience. You don't know what will happen. It could be fun, it could be awful, it could be disaster, it could be anything. What we are speaking of is a high purpose for human evolution, uh, which therefore is mankind. When one human has that experience and tells others, just as you are telling now, mankind is risen. There's a higher purpose by that story. It looks as if one person chose to live, but it's more than that. It's telling others there's something beyond this place.
Mm-hmm.
Miracles can happen, magic happens. So that story that you have just put forth advances mankind.
Mm-hmm.
So
It
it is a
does.
higher purpose in that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And those people, they attest that their lives, they look on things completely differently,
Yes.
having had that experience. So that's the interesting message of the show. I guess I was just honing in on the idea of you having to have some purpose that you must come back to
No.
fulfill. So,
Oh, well, you're speaking of this exact moment, this precise example, yes. Because otherwise they would just have laughed and gone off and played with their new non-physical friends and gone into the universe of love. Absolutely easy, easy, easy escape from Earth. So there's something with that specific story, and it is exactly because of the story that there's a human evolution.
mhm. So was this um like I'm not quite sure how this whole arrangement with Wanda and this channeling, like, it was serendipitous how it came about, but it wasn't something I consciously sat down to engineer. It just, the relationship occurred. So I can only assume that, well, my energetic self is guiding this discussion in some way, or this
Yes.
connection, right?
Yes,
So,
exactly.
right.
And your energetic self said, I wish to evolve. As soon as you say, I wish to evolve, you don't know what's going to come your way because there are many ways to evolve. So as soon as you put that out, information comes to you, humans or events, whatever, things happen.
Mhm.
That's you. It's a small, humans sometimes don't even notice what they're praying about. I wish I could evolve. That's all. Simple as that. Could be just a thought passing by, and yet the universe responds to it.
Mhm.
All right. So we
Definitely.
must complete our energetic exchange.
That was wonderful. Thank you for that explanation.
All right.
All right.
Let us do namaste together.
Yes, please.
Namaste.
Namaste. Much love and gratitude. That was good. All right. Stop recording.